Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when a decision must be made, a decision not of circumstance, but of identity. The question is not what you wish to become tomorrow, but who you are willing to be today. Success, greatness, fulfillment, they do not belong to the future. They begin the very moment you decide to act in harmony with your highest vision of yourself. You see, all achievement starts with a thought, a vision born in the mind, nurtured by faith, and made real by action. If you can hold the image of the person you aspire to be, and align your every deed, word, and thought with that image, you are no longer pretending, you are becoming. You are forging a new reality through will and discipline. The difference between the person who succeeds and the one who merely dreams lies in one single truth. The successful one became the vision before the world could see it. They walked, spoke, and acted as though it were already done. They did not wait for evidence, they became that person now. Doubt is the assassin of destiny. When you hesitate, you lose momentum. When you delay, you give power to fear. But when you act as if the goal is already reached, as if you already possess the qualities you admire, you are no longer chasing success, you are attracting it, you are commanding it by the law of cause and effect. The world does not give titles, it recognizes patterns. Speak like a leader, and you will be treated as one. Show the habits of the disciplined, and rewards will follow. Every master was once a beginner who refused to think like one. They stepped into their vision and stayed there until it became reality. You must understand, what you desire is not something to find, but something to claim, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. The bridge between who you are and who you want to be is built in the present moment, with every decision, every belief, every action aligned with the image of your better self. So I ask you, who would you be if you were no longer afraid? How would you walk into a room if you already had the success you seek? How would you speak, think, rise in the morning, go to work, treat your goals if you knew the outcome was guaranteed? That is the person you must become, not later, but now. Because life does not respond to what we hope for, it responds to who we are. And you, ladies and gentlemen, already have within you the power to become. Success is not a future event, but a present decision. This idea is both powerful and liberating. It means that your life's direction isn't determined by luck or timing, but by the choices you make right now. It means that the life you dream of doesn't live somewhere in the distance, waiting for the perfect opportunity or circumstances. It exists in this very moment, shaped by what you decide to believe, who you decide to be, and how you choose to act. Now, too many people delay their success by thinking it belongs to some future version of themselves. They say things like, "I'll do it when I'm ready," or "I'll become that person when things settle down," or "one day I'll be successful." But here's the truth, one day never comes, the only time you ever have is now. The future is simply a reflection of repeated decisions made in the present. If you wait for success to happen, it never will. But if you choose it, own it, as something that begins with your current attitude, mindset, and behavior, then you set into motion the forces that build your future. This moment is not a placeholder. It is not an intermission before the real thing begins. It is the stage, the spotlight, and the main act. The most successful people in the world did not wait for success to come to them. They decided to be successful before they had any proof they would be. They carried themselves with the confidence of someone who had already achieved, even when all they had was a dream. That choice to carry the image, the discipline, and the energy of success was the seed from which their entire journey grew. A decision is a powerful thing. A real decision is not a wish or a hope. It is a commitment backed by action. It is when you cut off every other possibility and say, "This is who I am, this is the standard I live by, this is the life I claim." At that point, life begins to bend to your will, not because of some mystery or magic, but because your consistent actions begin to reshape your reality. The people you attract, the opportunities you notice, the energy you give, all of it aligns with the decision you've made. The mind is not neutral, it responds to your direction. If you tell yourself, "I'll be great someday," the mind hears hesitation. But when you say, "I am becoming great now, I act with purpose now, I prepare like a leader now. Your thoughts gain structure, your actions gain power, and your results begin to shift. That is because success isn't a single achievement, it's a pattern of thought and action repeated with intensity. It is built moment by moment, decision by decision. You do not become wealthy, confident, powerful, disciplined, or respected by waiting for life to change. You become those things by acting in alignment with them before they manifest. You make decisions that match your desired identity, even when your circumstances haven't caught up. You invest in yourself even when there's no applause. You show up on time with energy and clarity, even when no one is watching. That's how success is built, not in the grand gesture, but in the quiet moment of resolve where you say, I choose it now. The tragedy is that most people delay their transformation because they think they need permission, a guarantee, or the right timing. But all of that is an illusion. There is no perfect time to become who you want to be. There is only now. The decision you make in this moment, to rise, to commit, to act as if the vision is already yours, is what separates the dreamer from the doer, the talker from the achiever, the average from the exceptional. Look around you. Everything you see, every company, every invention, every success story, began as an idea. Someone, somewhere, made the decision to act as though it were already possible. They didn't wait for a sign. They didn't ask for validation. They moved, they created, they built momentum. That same ability is within you. You do not need to earn it. You need only decide to use it. That decision, made fully and without hesitation, is the birthplace of every great transformation. It doesn't require a title, a degree, or a following. It requires clarity of intention and courage in execution. It requires you to stop wishing and start claiming, not by words but by deeds, not later but now. Because success in its truest form is not something you stumble into, it is something you step into, and every step starts with the decision to be that person, right here, right now. Acting as your highest self now creates the path to your destiny. This principle is foundational to every journey of success, every transformation, every rise from obscurity to greatness. It means that the future you desire is not built on the version of you that exists today by default, but on the version of you that you choose to step into right now. The actions you take today are either pulling you toward your highest vision or pushing you further away from it. There is no neutral ground. The path is forged by the way you show up, by the energy you bring, and by the identity you embrace in this moment. You are not waiting for your destiny to arrive. You are shaping it with every choice. You are either rehearsing your limitations or practicing your greatness. If you act like someone who is still trying, still doubting, still uncertain, the results will reflect that. But if you act like someone who knows who they are, who holds themselves to a higher standard, who walks into each day with discipline, clarity, and belief, then life begins to respond accordingly. Opportunities that once felt distant will begin to approach, not because they changed, but because you did. The world mirrors who you are being, not just what you're saying. You can speak of success, talk of dreams, post quotes, and share vision. But if your daily actions are not congruent with the person you claim to be, then your words hold no power. The real transformation begins when you align your behavior with your higher self, even before anyone else sees the results. That is where the shift happens, not when others believe in you, but when you do. When you show up as the version of yourself that already lives at the level you desire. Acting as your highest self does not mean pretending. It means aligning. It means taking your goals seriously enough to live as if they are already within reach. It means refusing to be guided by fear, doubt, or the opinions of others. Your highest self is not some distant, perfected version of you. It is the you that emerges when excuses are silenced and commitment takes the lead. It's the voice inside that says, I was meant for more, and is followed by actions that prove it. What separates those who fulfill their potential from those who don't is not talent, timing, or connections. It is identity. Those who succeed step into their future self before the world asks them to. They don't wait to be invited to greatness. They show up as if they belong there. They lead before they are promoted, speak truth before it is popular, and act with integrity even when no one is watching. That is the mindset that attracts destiny. It does not wait for recognition. It generates momentum from within. Your circumstances are not the deciding factor in who you become. Your choices are. And the most powerful choice you can make is to show up today as the person who already lives the life you desire. That means you wake up with purpose. You speak with conviction. You manage your time as though it is precious. You treat others with respect because you respect yourself. You do the work not because you are forced to, but because it is what your highest self would do. When you act as your highest self, you begin to unlock the energy, creativity, and confidence that have always been within you. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself authority. You realize that the person you want to be is not separate from you. It is you fully activated. And once you make that shift, the world cannot help but notice. People respond to certainty. They trust those who move with inner conviction. They follow those who lead from a place of clarity. You do not need more time. You need more alignment. You need to stop postponing your power and start practicing it. Start dressing like the leader you want to be. Start speaking like the expert you wish to become. Start making decisions from the mindset of abundance, not scarcity. Every time you do this, you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of the life you envision. And that belief, expressed through action, is what draws your destiny closer with each passing day. Acting as your highest self now is not a performance, it is a practice. It is the daily decision to rise above the version of you that settles, and instead to embody the version that leads, builds, and rises. Every morning offers you that choice. Every moment gives you the chance to live in alignment with your purpose. And when you do, your path becomes clear, not because the obstacles disappear, but because you are no longer the same. You have become the architect of your future, and your destiny begins to take shape under the power of who you choose to be right now. Thoughts backed by faith become powerful actions. This truth lies at the heart of all lasting success. It is not merely the thought that changes the world, nor the action alone. It is the force that connects them, faith. A thought without faith is a passing idea. It drifts in and out of the mind like a cloud with no purpose. But when that same thought is infused with belief, when it is backed by unwavering certainty, it transforms into a directive. It calls the body to move, the voice to speak, and the will to persist. It becomes a command to reality. Faith is not blind hope. It is not wishful thinking. It is a state of knowing, an inner assurance that what you believe will come to pass because you will not allow it to be otherwise. It is the decision to trust in the power of your thought so completely that your actions follow without hesitation. When you combine a focused idea with deep conviction, you ignite a fire within yourself that moves you beyond fear, beyond doubt, and beyond average effort. The people who rise above the noise of the world are not always the most talented. They are not always the most experienced or the most connected, but they believe, without apology, without retreat. Their thoughts are not fleeting dreams, but marching orders. They decide what they want, and they act as if it is already theirs. That level of certainty is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is the understanding that every great achievement begins in the mind, but must be walked into existence by the power of faith-fueled action. When you have a thought, an idea for your future, a vision for your life, it means nothing until you invest belief into it. Without faith, the mind becomes a battlefield of second guessing, and no action can take root in that soil. But with faith, even the smallest thought can move mountains. Faith transforms a whisper into a roar. It pushes you to take the first step when no one else sees the staircase. It gives you the strength to stand firm when circumstances suggest you should quit. It is the quiet force behind every courageous act. Consider for a moment what happens when your thoughts are aligned with belief. You no longer act out of fear, you act out of purpose. You don't hesitate to speak, to create, to lead, because you are not seeking confirmation from the world. You are living from a conviction within. That shift alone can move you from uncertainty to authority. From waiting to creating, from surviving to thriving. Thoughts backed by faith do not just create external results. They transform your character. They sharpen your focus, increase your endurance, and elevate your expectations. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start declaring, "I will." You stop looking for signs and start becoming the signal. You stop waiting for someone to hand you a plan and begin moving with the confidence of someone who knows the plan will reveal itself as you go. This is not about fantasy, it is about function. Faith in your thoughts gives you access to energy, discipline, and resilience that average thinking cannot reach. When your belief is strong enough, your actions begin to carry a weight. You speak and people listen. You act and results follow. You persist and barriers fall. Not because you're lucky, but because you've decided that failure is not your final story. Faith will push you when motivation fades. It will hold you steady when chaos rises. It will remind you of your vision when everyone else has forgotten it. There will be times when the evidence is missing, when the progress is slow, when the results do not reflect your effort. That is where most people stop, when they don't see proof. But those who understand the power of faith do not require proof to persist. They require belief, because belief brings the discipline to keep showing up. It brings the vision to keep aiming high. It brings the fire to keep walking, even through fog. In the absence of applause, in the silence of solitude, faith remains. When you look at the most impactful leaders, the greatest builders, the boldest innovators, what you're witnessing is the combination of thought, faith, and action moving in harmony. They dared to think big, they believed deeply, and they acted decisively. That combination is a formula no obstacle can withstand. It is not reserved for the gifted. It is available to all who are willing to believe in their vision and act with courage. Your thoughts have power, but only when you choose to believe in them and back them with relentless action. When you marry idea with faith and faith with discipline, you unlock a force that few ever tap into. And in that force is the key to creating not just success, but a life of purpose, impact, and unshakable strength. You become by doing, not by waiting. This truth is often overlooked in the quiet moments when hesitation creeps in. When doubt whispers that the time is not right, or when fear convinces you to stay in place. Many people believe that becoming the person they want to be is a future event, a destination reached only after perfect preparation, the right opportunity, or some external validation. But the reality is quite different. Identity and action are intertwined. You cannot wait to become ready. You must become ready by starting to act. Action is the catalyst that transforms ideas into reality. Without it, dreams remain intangible, hopes stay distant, and potential goes untapped. Every habit you build, every decision you make, and every step you take molds you into the person you are becoming. If you wait for the perfect moment to begin, that moment may never arrive. The perfect time is a myth that keeps you stuck in limbo, postponing your growth and your success. Instead, you must understand that your future self is shaped by the actions you take today. Those who achieve greatness are not born fully formed. They are forged through doing. They learn by trial and error. They grow by pushing beyond discomfort. They become confident by acting confidently, even when they feel uncertain. Each action is a statement, a declaration that you are moving forward. You do not need to have all the answers to start. What you need is the courage to take the first step and the persistence to keep moving. Waiting breeds stagnation. It breeds fear. When you wait, you give your power away. You hand your future to chance and circumstance. But when you do, you reclaim that power. You decide that you will not be defined by where you are now, but by where you choose to go. Every small action you take today lays the foundation for your tomorrow. By doing, you create momentum. Momentum generates confidence. Confidence fuels more action. and this cycle propels you forward toward the person you want to become. Becoming is not about a sudden transformation. It is about consistent, deliberate action. It is about showing up when you would rather hide, speaking up when silence feels safer, and moving forward when the path seems unclear. You grow stronger by facing challenges, not avoiding them. You become disciplined by practicing discipline. You become brave by acting despite fear. This is how identity is built, from the inside out, one decision at a time. Many hesitate because they fear failure, rejection, or ridicule. But the truth is that failure is not the enemy, inaction is. Failure teaches, reveals weaknesses, and strengthens resolve. It is an essential part of the journey. But inaction guarantees no progress, no growth, no transformation. If you wait until fear disappears, you will wait forever. Instead, act with fear, act in spite of doubt, act because you refuse to let waiting define you. Remember, the person you are waiting to become already exists within you. The skills, the passion, the strength. They are dormant until you stir them awake through action. You activate your potential by stepping into it. You awaken your courage by choosing to do the next right thing, not because you feel ready, but because you have committed to becoming. Success is a process, not a promise. It is built through doing, not hoping. It is earned through consistent effort, not passive dreaming. You do not become an athlete by wishing to be fit. You become one by training. You do not become a leader by waiting for recognition. You become one by leading. You do not become confident by hoping for approval. You become confident by acting with conviction. So, the secret lies in your willingness to begin, to move, and to keep moving, to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. To practice your dreams through your actions, because every step taken is a step closer to becoming. The person you want to be is waiting on the other side of action. But that journey begins not tomorrow, not next week, but now. You become by doing. Every great achiever began by seeing themselves as already successful. This vision is not mere wishful thinking. It is a deliberate act of imagination and belief that sets the foundation for real achievement. Before anything can be built in the external world, it must first be constructed in the mind. The mental image you hold of yourself shapes your identity, your confidence, and ultimately your destiny. Those who reach remarkable heights don't start by doubting or underestimating themselves. They start by seeing and feeling their success in advance. The power of this vision is profound because it acts as a magnet for opportunity and a filter for your decisions. When you see yourself as successful, you make choices that support that image. You reject habits that don't align with it and adopt behaviors that elevate you. You think and speak from that perspective, and in doing so, you create an invisible roadmap guiding you toward your goals. This mental picture becomes your compass during moments of uncertainty, reminding you of what you are working to become. Visualizing success is not just about daydreaming. It is a form of mental rehearsal that programs your subconscious mind to expect certain outcomes. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is vividly imagined and what is real. When you consistently see yourself achieving your goals, your mind starts to work toward making those images tangible. It directs your attention toward resources, ideas, and people that can help you realize your vision. It also fuels your motivation, helping you push through obstacles that would stop others. The earliest stages of any achievement are often the most challenging, precisely because the external proof of success has not yet appeared. In these moments, the ability to hold a clear vision of yourself as successful becomes a lifeline. It protects you from discouragement and doubt. It reminds you that what you see in the present is temporary and that you are on a path toward a greater reality. This mental image strengthens your resilience and keeps you committed to the process, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Seeing yourself as already successful also builds confidence. Confidence is a byproduct of self-perception. If you perceive yourself as capable, worthy, and accomplished, your actions reflect that belief. You carry yourself with a sense of purpose. You speak with authority. You approach challenges with optimism. This confidence is magnetic. It draws others to you. opening doors and creating alliances that might otherwise remain closed. People are naturally drawn to those who believe in themselves because belief breeds competence and reliability. Moreover, this vision shapes how you react to setbacks. When you see failure as a temporary detour rather than a permanent state, you bounce back faster. You learn from mistakes without letting them define you. You maintain a forward-looking mindset because your self-image is anchored in success, not in past difficulties. This resilience is essential because every journey worth pursuing will encounter obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit lies in their ability to maintain that vision despite adversity. To cultivate this vision, you must actively engage your imagination. Spend time regularly picturing yourself living the life you desire. Feel the emotions associated with your success, the pride, the excitement, the satisfaction. See yourself handling challenges with grace and confidence. Hear the praise and respect from others. Immerse yourself in the experience as if it is already your reality. This mental exercise may feel like acting at first, but over time it reshapes your identity and prepares you for real-world success. It is important to understand that this vision is not static. As you grow, your image of success will evolve. It will become more detailed, richer, and more aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. This is natural and necessary. The key is to keep that vision alive and vibrant. When you do, you create a powerful gravitational pull that brings your goals within reach. Every great achiever, whether in business, art, science, or leadership, started with a mental picture of who they would become. They did not wait for success to knock on their door. They built it in their minds first, and then lived in accordance with that vision. The same principle is available to you. If you want to rise, if you want to create, if you want to lead, start by seeing yourself as already there. Let that vision be the foundation upon which you build your future.